Deserve what I did today. I wanted to plead guilty because I wanted to accept responsibility for what I did.
Alright, I'll tell you what happened. Alright, so I got home, I got in an argument with my mom. She slapped me across the face, she began to hit me. She started beating me. I didn't like it, so I strangled her to death.
You throw her, you force her to the floor, and you choke the life out of her. How'd that make you feel?
I felt nothing. Since I'm a minor, can I even go to prison? Is it like a thing?
Not only have I stolen my mother from myself, but from everybody else as well. Because of my actions, I will never get to truly know my mom.
This, to me, is so mind-boggling.
This is Dexter Johnson, who's on trial for double murder in Texas. According to reports on June 18, 2006, Johnson and his gang carjacked 23-year-old Maria Aparici, who was sitting in her car with 17-year-old Huo. The gang then drove that into a secluded area where Johnson assaulted Ari while her boyfriend's No was forced to listen. Johnson and an accomplice then took the couple to a nearby woods and executed them. The 18-year-old was arrested after police traced Ari's stolen credit card, which was used after the crime. Eventually, Johnson was found guilty of capital murder. Now at his sentencing, the defendant is about to learn his fate.
Dexter Johnson, the jury has found you guilty of capital murder. In accordance with the laws of the state of Texas, this court hereby sentences your punishment as death. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is going to complete your jury service. I'm going to meet you in the jury room.
All rise.
Johnson went into a shock, unable to stand up, while his family broke down in the gallery. Johnson was cuffed and removed from the court, but the chaos was far from over.
Hey, I'm calling ambulance, ma'am. Do you want to
Johnson, his execution was later halted by a federal court citing intellectual disability. He is still on death row. While the Johnson was truly spectacular, how does it compare to the actions of Michael Swanson, who's on trial for double murder in Carroll County, Iowa? In November 2010, 17-year-old Swanson reportedly stole his mother's Jeep and drove to two gas stations in northern Iowa, where he fatally shot both Sheila Mears and Vicky Bowman Hall during a robbery attempt. Shortly after, Swanson was arrested and charged with robbery and first degree.
Dashcam video taken hours after two convenience store clerks were murdered. The pictures show a calm Michael Swanson being taken into custody at a Webster City McDonald's after workers there spotted a suspicious vehicle.
Local police found a ski mask and the gun he used to shoot the two store clerks in Swanson's Jeep.
Inside Swanson's stolen Jeep Cherokee, officers testified they found a ski mask, clothing, and weapons, including a handgun wedged between the driver's seat and console.
Interrogation: Swanson claimed he felt powerful while committing the murder.
Curious, how did it feel when you pulled the trigger? I mean, some people say that, it feels powerful or that it's kind of a rush, or what did you feel when you pulled the trigger?
I felt powerful, but I don't really care.
How else did you feel?
It had no effect on me. I just didn't even care. I just felt like my adrenaline was pumping. I felt good.
Okay.
He then went on to describe the shooting in gruesome detail.
And where did you shoot?
Around the body?
Yeah.
In the face.
In the face? Okay.
She made some noise. She just fell down. She just kind of fell on the ground.
You said that she made some type of noise. What type of noise did she make?
I just kind of felt like she was surprised. It was like, ouch. I don't know.
While being escorted to the courtroom, Swanson acted like a celebrity.
come to Iowa?
Oh no.
What's so funny? You're smiling.
Y'all are funny.
His defense initially sought a plea of insanity due to Swanson's troubled childhood and a history of untreated mental health issues.
He's legally responsible for a condition he's born with, and that's exactly what happened.
A doctor who puts in his report that without antipsychotic medication, he's going to rob people, he's going to use weapons.
A court doctor who evaluated Swanson described the defendant's obsession with crime.
He had been, quotes, planning something to this degree, including killing people. He said, I have always been fascinated by death and violence, and it was something that I wanted to do. Murder and cannibalism.
Murder and cannibalism. However, Swanson later pleaded guilty to the murder.
Deliberately and with premeditation shot the clerk, causing her to die. I did this with a specific intent to kill her.
Sentencing. An emotional daughter of the victim addressed her mother's killer.
How could you do what you did to my mom and my family? I want to know if you're even sorry. My mom was not only completely 100% innocent, but she was also a defenseless woman when you came in with that gun. You said you did it for cigarettes and money and so no one could identify you, but I think that's a lie.
Husband of Sheila Myers was so distraught that the prosecutor had to read his statement. Then the judge directly addressed Swanson, who shockingly found the whole situation funny.
And your counsel wants us to believe that you lack the capacity, that you were insane. And I don't buy into that. You are dangerous, you are unpredictable, and there is no place for you in an open, law-abiding society.
Ultimately, Swanson was sentenced to 2 life terms for the murders of Sheila Myers and Vicki Bowman Hall, while Michael Swanson showed no remorse in the courtroom. What happens when a convict breaks down in court, like in the case of Dylan Shumaker, who's accused of killing a toddler in Springville in March 2013. Shumaker was babysitting his 19-year-old girlfriend's toddler at their home while he allegedly beat the 1-year-old child to death. When the baby wouldn't stop crying, the 16-year-old then called authorities, saying the child had stopped breathing.
Deputies, upon arrival, immediately noted the bruising about the face and head of the child.
First responders found the boy with bruises all over his body and gave him CPR, but baby Austin did not survive. Schumer was arrested shortly after and charged with murder. His sister Alex claimed her brother snapped after being unable to cope with teenage fatherhood.
He got 2 kids dumped on him out of nowhere, and he just snapped.
Eventually, Schumer was found guilty of second-degree murder at his sentencing. The defense fought for the minimum sentence of 15 years to life.
Smith was completely defenseless. That's a given. But there were other dynamics at work there, including my client's inability to either control his anger or frustration and his inexperience in babysitting.
Schumer also showed remorse for his action.
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin.
Pleaded his case with the victim's family. I
didn't mean to kill Austin. Actually, I really didn't. I really think I did that. I didn't mean to hurt him.
The judge called out the defendant's actions for trying to fool the court during trial. In
Judge M. William Bowler's last words to Shumaker.
The record will show that you admitted that on July 23, 2013, in a phone call to your mother from the holding center, you stated, "I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me."
Finally, it was time for the child killer to learn his fate.
That you be sentenced to an indeterminate term of imprisonment, which will have a maximum of life. The court hereby imposes a minimum sentence of 25 years.
Ultimately, Shumaker was given the maximum sentence of 25 years to life in prison for the murder of young Austin, while Dylan Schumer got a hefty sentence for the death of a toddler. What happens when a teenager kills his own mother?
So I dug that hole, threw her body in there, filled it back in, made it look all nice and natural, dumped my clothes, and then I went.
Case of Greg Ramos, who's facing murder charges in Valua County, Florida. On the afternoon of November 2 ND 2018, 15-year-old Ramos returned from school to find his home completely sacked, unable to find his mother.
911, where's your emergency?
I just got home, and my house is completely trashed. It looks like someone broke in the side door.
Okay. How long have you been gone?
I've been gone all school day. I got home.
Are you there by yourself?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
Okay, I want you to stay on the phone with me. We are not going to disconnect until I have an officer that is with you, okay?
Authorities arrived. Ramos appeared distraught at first and gave them a list of things that the alleged burglars took.
I have a radio here, and I had an extension cord with an alarm clock, and then I had my $1,000 computer here.
However, police found inconsistencies in his story, brought him in for further questioning. This is when Ramos gave them a chilly confession.
Alright, so I got home, I got an argument with my mom. She slapped me across the face, she began to hit me. She started beating me. I didn't like it, so I strangled her to death.
Strangled her to death. Ramos admitted to strangling his mother, Gail Klinger, after the two got into an argument over his grades. He then went on to describe how he dumped the body of the 46-year-old.
I drove back to the church, I began to dig a hole. I dig a hole right under the fire pit. I dug a pretty deep hole, pretty deep, doing it to put a body in. All right. All this time, my mom's decomposing body, I dragged it from my car to the fire pit. In which case, I tried to cut the wedding ring off her finger because I wanted to pawn it, but I couldn't. Threw her body in there, filled it back in, made it look all nice and natural. Dumped my clothes, and then I went home and I caught a ride to school with my friends. And yeah.
After disposing of the body, Ramos cooked up a story to make his mother's disappearance look like a robbery gone wrong.
In the middle of the night, I realized that, hey, my mom just up and disappears. That's not going to make any sense. So I decided to make it look like a botched robbery. So I just went to my house and I just threw shit everywhere, which looked pretty convincing. Yeah.
Ramos was arrested and charged as an adult with first-degree murder, abuse of a dead body, and tampering with evidence. To avoid going to trial and a possible life sentence, the teenager pleaded guilty to all the charges against him.
Guilty to first-degree murder, abuse of a dead human body, tampering with physical evidence. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you do it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ultimately, Ramos was sentenced to 45 years in prison with a possibility of parole after 25 years for the murder of his mother.
I'm not standing here today to make excuses for myself. I'm here to honor and remember my mother. Not only have I stolen my mother from myself, but from everybody else as well. Because of my actions, I will never get to truly know my mom.
While Greg Ramos showed no regrets for his gruesome actions, how does it compare to intentionally crashing a car to kill?